So, I guess we're just going to have to choose between the place we just saw and the studio apartment we went to see yesterday. Let's sit down somewhere to eat whilst we decide. My legs are killing me and I can't think about anything else right now. Well, at least with the two of us living together, we'll be able to split the cost of the rent, bills, and groceries, which will make life much easier. How about we sit down on this bench? Sounds like a good idea to me. Is that a salmon and avocado sandwich? Yeah, I think so. It was just the first one I picked up. Thanks. Let's tuck in. What are you doing taking a picture of it for? It's just some shop-bought sandwich. There's no need to plaster it all over your Instagram. Honestly, anyone would think you have a social media addiction. Talking about social media addicts, Bryce is way worse than I could ever be. Ah, yeah, him. I started following him on Instagram maybe a week ago now. Oh, really? You must have the patience of a saint. Well, it's just because his parents and my parents are good friends, so it wouldn't look good on them if I didn't follow him. But honestly, now I'm regretting accepting his follow request so much. I think I was following him for around 6 months or something like that, and honestly, his posting causes me so much stress. I really don't know why he feels the need to post so many selfies at once, especially as a guy. Honestly, I really don't know what to think of him. I swear that there are some days where I've seen him post more than 5 selfies on his feed in one day. Who wants to see that? Certainly not me. Oh, is he only uploading 5 a day these days? I remember seeing him post more than 10 at once not that long ago. 10 at once? What is wrong with him? Shall I tell you something even worse? Oh no. How could it possibly get any worse? There was this one time that he had one of those phone holders placed by the sink in the school bathrooms, and he recorded himself putting gel in his hair so that he could put it on his Instagram story. It wasn't even a picture. It was a whole video. Wow. He really is the ultimate attention seeker. That's still nothing. The day I decided to finally unfollow him, he posted 8 videos of himself throughout the day. Oh, seriously? He posted one video of himself going to a restaurant to eat steak, but he wasn't just eating the steak like a normal person. He was making a huge deal out of it being fancy. The saddest thing is that it was so obvious that he was alone. He was alone? Oh dear, how pathetic. He even carries around one of those little suction phone holders that you can stick on mirrors so that he can take pictures of him trying on clothes in stores and things like that. Honestly, social media addiction needs to be viewed as the serious mental illness that it is. Exactly. And you don't get much more extreme than Bryce's case. Oh no. Speak of the devil. Don't look now, but he's behind you, coming our way. Has he definitely seen us? Is there time for us to run away? Do you not want to talk to him that bad? Well, a few days ago, he requested to re-follow me and I denied it. Seriously, Sav, is he far? I'm freaking out here! He's pretty close now. He's definitely seen us. Oh no, this is the last thing I need. Oh gosh. He's wearing a white pants, white sneakers combo today. He really has no sense, does he? Hey, Taylor. Hey, Savannah. Oh, hey, Bryce. How are you doing? I see you're eating a sandwich. Yes, we are. Is it okay if I grab a piece? Yeah, sure, whatever you want. When you've finished your sandwich, let's go and grab a coffee together. I'll buy you guys some cake. Ew, no. Sorry, Bryce, I wasn't laughing at you. I'm so sorry. Why don't you want to hang out with me, Taylor? I just don't, okay? It's just that I have something I want to talk to you about. Why can't we talk about it here? Okay, fine, I'll say it now then. I requested to refollow you on Instagram the other day, but you didn't accept. Why was that? Do you really want to know why? Well, yes, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking you about it. You're an embarrassing, tacky guy who goes around wearing white pants with white sneakers when it obviously looks terrible, and I just don't really want to be associated with someone like you. What did you just say? Wow, okay. I see how it is. I guess I'll just leave then. I know when I'm not wanted. He really left, huh? Ugh, he's so annoying. I guess I'm going to just have to block him this time. Unfollowing him clearly isn't enough of a repellent. I'll do it right now. Oh? Wait a second. Where's my phone? Really, Tay? You are such a scatterbrain. Ugh, I guess I must have left it at the realtor's office earlier. This is so annoying! The new shampoo smells really nice, doesn't it? It does, but why were you watching me wash my hair? What are you talking about? Wait, so you weren't in the bathroom just now while I was just showering? No. Of course I wasn't. That would be a massive invasion of your privacy. But seriously, I was convinced that you were in there. Tay, are you drunk? Is everything okay? Did you wash your hair a little too hard and you washed a little bit of your brain away as well? No, Sahav, listen to me. So I got some shampoo in my eyes, so I squeezed them shut because of the stinging. And I just felt really strongly that there was someone else present in the bathroom with me. I thought you would come in. Ew, no. I can't believe that you would even think I would do something like that. Obviously, if you were rooming with a guy, it would be a different story. But I'm a girl, and I know to respect other girls' privacy. Oh, and also, I told you not to spray mosquito repellent in there. We can just squish them whenever we see them or chase them out the window. I think you were losing your mind, you know. I didn't spray any mosquito repellent. I don't think we even have any in the house. Come over here and open wide. I need to check your breath to see if you've been drinking. And it also smells like something is burning in here. What smell? It smells fine in here. Are you sure you didn't burn something whilst cooking? Taylor, seriously, just stop this already. I don't want to listen to your nonsense anymore. I'm reading something on my phone and I don't want to be interrupted anymore. But I can definitely smell something weird. Are you okay? Maybe we need to go and get you checked out. Maybe we should check the plug sockets just to see that none of the electrical appliances are causing this smell. There's no need because there is no smell. You're really getting on my nerves now, you know. You're making me wish I never moved in with you. You've had a long day, huh? Yeah, I'm exhausted. How was work today? Whatever, it was fine. More importantly, have you heard about what happened to Bryce? No, I didn't. What happened? The last I heard of him was that he joined the army a while back. Well, he seems to have had some sort of accident whilst training in the army. What kind of accident? Apparently it was during some kind of live fire training or something like that. Oh, really? Well, apparently he died. What? He died, Taylor. What? This can't be true. When did this happen? This is unbelievable. It was around 2 weeks ago. Oh gosh. If I'd known he was going to have such a short life, I would have been way nicer to him. Yeah, I'm also feeling quite bad about the way we treated him. Every time he asked us to go and eat with him, we would always say no and even be kind of mean to him. We humiliated him in front of other people quite a few times as well. I wouldn't go as far as to say we humiliated him. Well, I would. Or saying loudly, ew, no, to him asking us to go out and eat with him when other people were watching must have been quite humiliating for him. Oh, and did you know? Know what? That Bryce had a crush on you for ages? What are you talking about? Of course he didn't! Well, I remember he wrote this long caption on Instagram about what kind of girls he was into, and he basically described you. Which is why I'm pretty sure he had a crush on you. He said he liked girls who didn't give him the time of day and will ignore his messages or even go as far as to block him. Well, whether that was the case or not, I should have been nicer to him when he told me he was going to join the army. I'm pretty sure I just snapped and said something rude. I feel so awful about it. I know, me too. But I guess there's nothing we can really do about it now. Here, eat some of these. What are they? I baked some cookies to wish you good luck with your interview tomorrow. Aw, thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, how come the fridge is so full of stuff all of a sudden? Oh, my mom sent us a bunch of food again. There are a lot of your favorites in there, which is great. Oh, amazing. That's so nice of her. How is your mom getting on working in the postnatal care center, by the way? Is she finding it hard? Nah, I think she's really well suited to this job. She loves kids and has loads of patience with them. Aw, that actually sounds lovely. And the moms all think she's the best thing since sliced bread. She's able to send us all this food because the moms just won't stop gifting it to her. Well, I'm grateful that we're getting to reap the benefits of her job as well.
Number 13, Miss Taylor Finch.
Yes, that's me.
Number 14, Jessica Best.
Yes, that's me.
Please can the two of you make your way into the office for your interview?
Yes, of course. Oh? Wait a second. Where's my phone? Huh? This girl seems like a total mess who can't even pull herself together. Beating her to the job offer is going to be a piece of cake. Ah! Oh gosh, this is too funny. Did she actually just fall over? I have to try not to laugh at her. This is a professional setting after all. It looks like her heel has broken. Oh no. The way she's fallen, you can even see her pants. And their flower pattern granny pants as well. How embarrassing. This is hilarious. I can't help but laugh a little bit. I want to die. This is so humiliating. So humiliating. There's no way I'm going to get hired now.
So tell me, what do you think your family thought of me?
What do you mean?
Oh, I was just wondering about what their general opinion of me might be.
Could you not tell from their vibes when they met you?
Well, I feel like they didn't exactly have a bad impression of me, but they didn't exactly have a good one either.
Well, my grandma constantly pushing food in front of you and insisting you eat it was basically her sign of approval. She's not the sort of person to say things outright.
I got the feeling that your grandma is definitely the head of the family.
Oh yes, we are quite the matriarchy.
To the extent that her opinion of your potential husband matters more than your parents'?
Yep, absolutely. What she says goes. My mom and dad would never dare to go against her.
She really did look like a general surveying her army, sat there in her armchair. I think you take after her a lot.
You're so right. Looking at her, I can see exactly what I'm going to look like when I'm old. I find it so funny that you said she looks like a general, though. Did you really think that?
Yeah.
Funny you should say that, because she comes from a big military family. Her father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all big shots in the army, but their links to the military go back even further. I think 5 or 6 generations of her family held the rank of general or commander or something like that.
Whoa, seriously? I had no idea. You really can see from the way she carries herself, though. She's so cool.
But remember, if you ever mess up in the future, you're going to have my grandma to answer to. It's best to never underestimate that lady. Anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting your family for the first time tomorrow.
I really don't think there's anything you need to worry about with my family. Both of my parents are really easy to get on with.
That's a relief to hear. Is your sister going to be there tomorrow as well? You said that she isn't well, didn't you?
Yeah, you'll probably see her tomorrow since she's living with my parents.
It must be awkward getting married before your sister when she's 4 years older than you.
It doesn't really bother me. I've lived away from my family for years now, so if she's upset about it, I don't really have to see her that much.
Didn't you say your dad just has one older sister as well?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you have the exact same sibling dynamic as him, huh? That's interesting.
My granddad was the same. He just had one older sister and no other siblings.
That's so funny! I wonder if it will be the same pattern if we ever have kids.
Here, love. Have some fruit.
Thank you so much.
And here's some tea for you as well. Make yourself nice and comfortable. You're going to be a part of the family from now on, after all.
That's so lovely of you.
So I'm thinking that around May will be a good time to have the wedding. We also need to have dinner with your parents as well, since we haven't even met them yet. We're free pretty much all the time, so we're happy to go with whenever suits them. I think it's best to have a wedding in the spring when the flowers are in full bloom, don't you? So please do your best to persuade your parents that there's no point in delaying the wedding any further.
Yes, of course.
The thought of being a spring bride is so romantic, is it not?
Yes, I agree. Well, the dinner was lovely and his parents are both so nice. I really appreciate how welcoming his mom is being. But why is his sister looking at me like that? And why is she staring at my underarms in particular? And she also keeps looking over my shoulder as if there's something behind me. Even when we were eating, she was like that.
Hey, Taylor, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Does anyone in your house have a job that involves saving lives? Like, are any of your family in the medical profession at all?
Celeste!
No, none of my family that I live with. Well, I suppose my mom was working in the postnatal care center until she retired last year, looking after the new moms and their new babies. But other than that, nobody in my house has been involved in anything medical before.
Ah, your mom worked in the postnatal care center?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's good then. Helping to look after new life is a very good thing indeed. She must have lots of positive energy around her.
You can stop now, Celeste.
But I feel like lots of your ancestors were good and virtuous people. It seems like many of them made great sacrifices for what they believed in. I imagine they must have been very physically active people as well.
Yes. Well, on my grandmother's side, there are lots of ancestors who were quite high-ranked in the military.
Ah, I see. So the active people who make lots of sacrifices in order to save people's lives must be your military ancestors.
Celeste!
What's wrong? Oh, I'm guessing you didn't tell her about me then, did you?
Honey.
Yes, what is it?
So, my sister is really interested in physiognomy, and she likes to guess this and that about people's ancestors just about looking at them. She also studied philosophy at college, so she's really interested in the whole ancestors thing.
Oh, I see.
Mom, please tell him there's no point in saying these things. She's going to find out sooner or later anyway. About the fact that I see things. It's better to get it out in the open as quickly as possible. Don't you agree, Dad?
Well, I guess that doesn't really seem like a bad idea, to be honest.
Well, I suppose she can use her third eye to see if there will be any problems with Julian's relationship with this girl.
So, basically, Taylor, I am favored by the ancestral spirits. They take care of me, so I try and make sure that those of us here on Earth do our best to appease them. I have what some people might call a third eye. I can see beyond our realm, into the spiritual realm. However, I haven't been blessed with full, complete ability to see into the spiritual realm, and I only receive partial messages, which is why I had to ask you questions about your ancestors in order to fully determine your situation.
Oh my gosh, this is really scary. Because the stuff she said about my ancestors was pretty spot on. I guess everything she said was positive stuff about my family, so I suppose I shouldn't be too worried.
Have you moved house a lot recently?
Yeah, since I was in college, I was moving roughly every 2 years because that's how long most rental contracts around here are. But now I'm living with my parents and grandma in the house I grew up in.
Your health hasn't been so good since you started moving around a lot, has it?
Oh, wow. How did you know that? No, it really hasn't been good.
Now that you're living with your parents and grandmother again, your health is much better, right?
Yes, that's spot on.
Having your parents and your grandmother around has improved both your physical and mental health, hasn't it? You're even sleeping much better these days.
Yes, that's right. How come you know all of these things?
I told you. It's thanks to the ancestral spirits. They look after me, and they have been looking after you. Did you first meet my brother in a place with lots of water?
Yes, we met in a cafe, so I guess there were lots of drinks there.
No, not that kind of water.
Oh, well, now you mention it. It was actually right next to the river.
That makes sense.
Stop with this pointless conversation and just eat your fruit already. There she goes again, rambling on and on about absolutely nothing. Oh, by the way, Taylor. Yes, Deborah? My husband here said he would happily pay for the costs of the wedding venue, and we're ready to make the booking whenever you are. I completely forgot to mention it earlier, but they said they had an opening at the beginning of May. I think it would be best for us to have a date for the wedding as soon as possible.
Why are you in such a rush, Mom? Taylor is going to have a lot of preparations to do, so it's best to give her a little more time.
Well, I don't see what's the point in waiting when they've both decided that they love each other and this is what they want.
Oh, wow. Does she like me this much? I'm surprised. I really thought I would have a hard time winning his mom over.
Here, honey. Here's your coffee.
Thank you. Ooh, this is really tasty. Anyway, what was it you wanted to tell me that was so important?
It's about my sister.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm sure you guessed, but she's suffering from a mental illness right now.
I did think that was probably the case, but I didn't want to say anything at the time.
I understand that it might be a lot for you to take on and that you would rather not have anything to do with her. Sometimes it really drives my family crazy.
Do they resent her for being ill?
Well, yeah, to be honest. Sometimes I wish she would just get lost and I never had to deal with her crazy again.
But why? That's a little harsh, isn't it?
Because she's so embarrassing.
Are you really that embarrassed by her?
Well, wouldn't you be if one of your siblings started acting like that?
Well, no, perhaps I wouldn't necessarily be happy about it. It's not exactly conventional. It's not like you can listen to the things she says without having some kind of reaction.
So this is why I'm telling you about the whole thing in advance. I'm giving you a chance to leave now if you think my sister is going to be an obstacle in our relationship. As much as I resent her sometimes, she's still my sister, and I can't just abandon her.
Honey?
Yes?
I think your sister might just be a little bored in life, which is why she's trying to be a shaman and saying this and that about the will of the spirits. I wouldn't necessarily say that she seemed particularly mentally unstable.
I suppose you might be right.
I think it's really not very nice of you to jump to conclusions and believe that there must be something wrong with her in the head. Obviously, people are going to say she's weird and look at her funny. That's inevitable. But you're her brother, and I think that you should find it within yourself to be a little more supportive.
You're just saying that because you don't actually know what it's like to have to deal with her. We'll talk again after you've spent some more time with her, and then we'll see if you have the same opinion.
Obviously, I've not spent as much time with her as you, but you two are related by blood. Even if the situation is bad, and other people may be pointing fingers and laughing at her, shouldn't you be sticking with her through thick and thin? You need to be the one to shield her, not the one to cast the first stone.
Don't you understand that I'm giving you a chance here? Whatever you may think, I don't think your family are going to react very well to my sister, are they? Especially since any kids we may have would have the possibility of inheriting her crazy gene.
Well, give me a few days to think it over, and I'll let you know how I feel after taking all of that into consideration.
Okay.
Thank you for talking to me about this. I'm really happy that you were able to be so open with me. I guess I'll get going now then. It's getting late.
Okay then. Oh, by the way, are you not taking your phone with you?
Oh goodness, I almost forgot it!
You really are a scatterbrain. You're always leaving your phone everywhere.
It must be tough for you, suddenly being caught up in this situation. Are you going to talk to your family about this? I'm going to assess the situation a little more before saying anything to them. That sounds like a good idea. Oh, here's our food. Oh, by the way, there's something else I wanted to talk to you about. What is it? I don't know if it's just my imagination running wild after talking to Julian's sister, so I wanted to ask your opinion on the situation. Okay, go on. I'll give you my honest opinion. Well, yesterday, Julian and I went to a coffee shop near his parents' house after meeting them. And after he left, I went to drive home, but I suddenly felt overwhelmingly drowsy. Oh no, that's really dangerous. Were you able to drive while feeling like that? Yeah, I had to, because my car was giving me the warning sign that I needed to fill it up with gas. And then what happened? Then the car swerved. Because you were falling asleep at the wheel. I guess it must have been because of that. But then all of a sudden, I was safe and exactly where I wanted to be. Next to the pump at the gas station. Oh, I see. But what it felt like is that there was somebody else taking control of the car, and that's how I ended up at the petrol station. I can't explain how. I just felt it. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. Tell me more. I ended up pushing forwards because I was so sleepy, and then at that moment I caught a glimpse of him. You mean whoever it was who took control of the wheel for you? Yeah, and you'll never believe this, but it was my great-grandfather. What? Your great-grandfather? Isn't he, long dead? Yeah, I'm sure it was him. And I know exactly what he looks like because he's my grandma's dad and she has pictures of him at home. I'm sure that he was the one sitting there in my car. Come on, now that can't be true. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I wouldn't even be bringing it up if I thought there was a chance that I actually had seen him. I guess looking at your expression right now, you actually look pretty shaken up about this. If you were just coming up with some tall tale, I don't think you'd be looking so terrified. And then he gestured to me and held out his palm to show me what looked like some kind of black mark. When I got home, I told my grandma about this, and she said that I had without a doubt seen the ghost of her father. When he was serving in the First World War, he got trampled on by a horse and his palm was scarred for life from that incident. My grandma was so moved by the whole thing, She said that the spirit of her father had come down to save me from having an accident at the wheel because I was too sleepy to drive properly. Then she started crying and looking up at the heavens to thank him. I really don't get it, though. Why your great-grandfather of all people? I have absolutely no idea. I think you were probably just a little sensitive to supernatural occurrences because you were sleepy and you had just had to listen to your fiancé's sister going all shaman on you. Do you really think so? Yeah, I think it must have been a coincidence fabricated by your mind. Or maybe you did actually see an old man and because you were so tired, you mistook him for your great-grandfather? But then I watched back the black box footage to be sure that wasn't the case. Oh yeah? And there was nobody there except me. Maybe you did actually fall asleep and were dreaming while sitting at the gas station? It definitely wasn't a dream. I'm sure of it. So you just said to her that you would understand if she wanted to call the whole thing off over this? What on earth is wrong with you? Why are you so mad, Mom? You simply have to get married. You need to get married as soon as possible. Why though? Did Celeste say we're a match made in heaven or something and you actually believe in her powers? Well, it's just because I think she's well suited both to you and to this family. Are you really going to let another girl slip through your fingers because of your sister? Do you not remember how your ex ran for the hills over this issue? That's exactly why I had this conversation with her. If she doesn't want to marry me, I'd rather know sooner rather than later and save myself the heartache. And that's why I'm saying that you need to make sure that things go well this time. You need to hurry up and have a baby straight after getting married. That way she can't leave as easily as she likes. Even if she wants to leave you, she'll be hesitant to break up the family you built together. I don't think that's going to work. It's 2024, Mom. Loads of women leave their husbands even if they have kids together. And baby trapping is such an underhanded trick, Mom. I'm ashamed of you for even suggesting it. Well, whatever. You just need to hurry up and get married. The sooner the better. I really don't want to be kept waiting any longer. Deborah, I'm so sorry I'm late. I couldn't leave the office until I'd finished all my tasks for today, and there was a lot to do. Oh no, it's fine. Don't worry. I should be the one apologizing to you for dragging you out here with not much prior warning. Oh, no, there's no need for you to apologize. I'll get the drinks for us. What would you like? Tea or coffee? In fact, have you eaten yet? Where are my manners, eh? Let's eat first, shall we? Oh? Judging from her reaction, she hasn't changed her mind about marrying my son. Oh no, we can just talk over a cup of tea first, and then I'll buy you something nice for dinner afterwards. I'd really like to talk to you about something important. Okay, please go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't think I'll be able to stay too long. My great-uncle's house is on the other side of the city, and I promised I'd be there tonight because my grandmother is very into celebrating death anniversaries of close family, and today is my great-grandfather's anniversary. Aw, it's really lovely that your family makes an effort to commemorate things like that. And I suppose today is a Friday, so you don't need to go to work tomorrow. So at least you can get a nice rest. Yes, my family can be very ritual-oriented. Well, I suppose I'll cut to the chase then, if you don't have too much time.
I'm going to tell you something that even Julian doesn't know.
What do you mean?
Well, his sister. I'm sure you got the gist of what the situation with her is when you met her, and Julian would have filled you in on the rest afterwards.
Yes, he did.
She's my daughter, and I really don't want to speak ill of her. But you do know that she's just putting on a show, right? She doesn't really see things. It's all just an elaborate act because she's got it into her head that she wants to be some kind of shaman fortune teller kind of thing.
Ah, I see. She's talking to me as if I'm stupid, and I don't appreciate that.
Half of what she says is just nonsense. She can't become a shaman. A shaman in this day and age. Isn't that ridiculous? I don't even know where she got these ridiculous ideas from.
Ah, I see. But to be honest, even if that is the truth, I'm really not too worried about the whole shaman thing.
Well, that's good then. There really isn't anything for you to be worried about. I'm sorry to have to bring this up with you, but I just felt I owed you some kind of explanation for my daughter's behavior. She's been on medication for her issues ever since she was in middle school.
She has? What has she been taking medication for, may I ask?
She has several symptoms of mythomania.
Mythomania? What's that?
It means she has a pathological tendency to tell lies. And she's always been paranoid and delusional, so none of the other kids would ever play with her at school. She then ended up getting severely depressed because she was such an outcast.
But where were you able to get medication for something like that to give to a middle schooler?
From the internet. In the early 2000s, it was possible to get those kinds of medications online, you know.
Oh, right. Anyway, please don't worry about this whole thing. I'm going to marry your son because I love him, and nothing is going to get in the way of that.
I'm so glad to hear that. My son is such a nice boy, you know. I really can't wait for us to become one big happy family.
Thank you so much for being so accepting of me.
Let's hurry up and go and eat something since you need to be home fairly soon. You like steak, don't you? I saw an article recently saying that rare steak is really good for you. So let's go and have some steak for dinner.
Why are there no streetlights in this alleyway? Honestly, I should just tell Great Uncle Keith to hurry up and move to a better neighborhood. There's nothing nice about this area. All the houses look the same. Why on earth is there some old lady riding a bike in this alleyway in the middle of the night making all this noise? Surely… Ah!
Honestly, Taylor, you need to be more careful. You can't be going and getting into accidents when you have a wedding to worry about.
I'm so sorry.
Still, it's a relief that you weren't hurt too badly. I'm sure they'll have you discharged in a few more days. It's nice that I get to come and visit you anyway.
Thank you so much for worrying about me.
How could I not be worried about you when you're practically family? And we still haven't met your parents. It's quite an abomination that our families are not better acquainted with one another. We have to keep pushing the wedding back further and further. Oh, how frustrating.
I know it's really not ideal for me to get into an accident like this when the wedding is around the corner. Maybe it's some kind of sign that the wedding shouldn't be going ahead so soon.
Oh no, that's not the case at all. You two are going to make the loveliest couple and you'll live happily ever after. I just know it. Things could have been much worse. It's such a relief that you didn't sustain worse injuries. Anyway, if you let me know your parents' number, I can call them as soon as you're out of the hospital and we can arrange to have dinner together. Then after that, we can have the wedding as soon as possible. We need to be making sure we speed things along. I'll make sure to take on all the stressful jobs for you, so that you can get everything prepared in good time.
Oh, it's fine. I'm happy to do it in summer, maybe even July.
It really doesn't have to be in May.
I'm in no big hurry.
What are you talking about? Nothing good ever came out of delaying a wedding unnecessarily, you know.
I suppose she must just be so happy that I'm not too badly hurt that she wants to go ahead with the wedding as soon as possible. Maybe my accident reminded her that the clock is ticking and anything could happen to any of us at any moment.
really is a relief that you're doing okay. I heard that you got hurt quite badly.
I'm feeling much better now. Thank you.
That's so good to hear. By the way, do you remember what I said to you when you first came over to our house?
Oh, well, I suppose I do remember vaguely, but I don't know exactly what it was you said.
I told you that your ancestors were watching over you, didn't I? You were safe because of your ancestors. This accident would have been much worse if they didn't protect you.
Ah, I see.
Because you come from a military family who made lots of sacrifices for their country, you have had this good luck bestowed upon you. My great-grandmother always said that the more an individual did for others in life, the more powerful their spirit will be.
Thank you so much for saying such nice things to me and being so complimentary of my ancestors.
It seems that the spirits of your ancestors have been helping you out whenever you got into any kind of trouble.
Oh, talking about that.
Yes?
There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Something I'd like to get your take on.
What is it?
Well, there have now been 2 incidents.
Keep talking.
And so I asked the paramedics who came to the scene of the accident, and they said that they had seen the bike, but there had been no rider. It had just been tossed to the side of the road.
I see.
And then I checked the black box footage again, and the bike was there, as clear as day, but again, nobody was riding it.
It definitely must have been another one of the spirits of your ancestors.
Do you really think so?
They're going out of their way to make sure the amount of harm done to you is minimal. They came out of nowhere on the bike to stop you from having a worse accident. One that would have led to you being closer acquainted with them sooner than you may have liked.
Then it must be true. Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to cry.
By the way, are you not curious at all?
Curious about what?
About why it is you got into not 1, but 2 accidents recently. You got into these accidents right after meeting my mom, didn't you? The first time was straight after you came to our house for the first time. And the second time was after she met up with you to make sure you wanted to still go through with marrying my brother. Wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I actually came here today to talk about these incidents with you. I'm sorry if I've made you uncomfortable at all.
Oh no, not at all.
That's weird. Most people don't like being around me.
What? Why is that?
Apparently, they hate the way I look at them. They feel as if they're being appraised, and it gives them the chills.
I'm not uncomfortable, so please don't worry about me.
It's so nice to be treated like this. Like a normal human being for once. I cried when I heard that you stuck up for me, you know?
You cried?
Even if the situation is bad, and other people may be pointing fingers and laughing at her, shouldn't you be sticking with her through thick and thin? You need to be the one to shield her, not the one to cast the first stone. Didn't you say that to Julian when he was bad-mouthing me to you?
Well, yeah, but I think any half-decent person would have said the same.
No, they wouldn't. It's the first time anyone has ever stuck up for me like that in my entire life. My family have always wished that I would just disappear and that they would never have to worry about me ever again.
I'm sure they don't really think that. Julian isn't that kind of person at heart.
What do you know? I'm the one who has had to live with them my entire life. It's not that I'm like this because I want to be like this or anything like that. I really don't know why everyone is so judgmental of me when I just can't help being the way I am. Nobody knows how it actually feels to be in my position. So basically, the reason I came to speak to you is because your words move me to tears, and nothing anybody has ever said has had that effect on me before. And because I hold you in such high regard, there's something I need to say to you.
By all means, go ahead.
You need to call off this engagement and run far away.
Excuse me?
Pretend that you were never involved with my brother and our family. It's best that you forget about us as soon as possible and never have anything to do with us ever again.
I don't really understand what you're saying right now.
You're going to keep getting into accidents if you go ahead with this marriage. You will be tormented, and in turn, your ancestors will also be tormented. Persistence always wins in the end.
I still don't know what you mean by all this.
My family's ancestral spirits are tormenting your family's ancestral spirits.
What did you just say?
So a long time ago, my great-grandfather kicked his wife out of the house.
Why would he do that? And why is that relevant to my current situation?
Because she only gave birth to one daughter and then was unable to have any more children. He didn't kick her out immediately, though. First, he brought a mistress into the house and shoved his wife into a corner, making her a second-class citizen in her own home. He ended up having 3 sons with his mistress and tried to pass them off as legitimate, so he needed to have his wife in the house with him still. Unfortunately, the first 2 sons died of smallpox when they were very young, and things weren't looking great for my great-grandfather in his endeavor to have a male heir lined up. My grandfather was the youngest, and the only survivor among the 3 sons. He was also very weak and sickly, and it was often thought that the very fact he survived childhood was nothing short of a miracle. He narrowly escaped death thanks to a native shaman who was passing by and offered to perform a healing ritual. My great-grandfather was desperate for at least one of his sons to make it, and was willing to try anything. Maybe the reason I have such an affinity with the other world is because of how my grandfather was saved.
Ah, I see. I suppose that would make sense.
My great-grandfather was filled with confidence once he had a son who had safely survived infancy, and he started to think that he didn't need his wife anymore, and that he would just make his mistress his official wife instead. He chased his wife out of the house, and he wouldn't even let her see her daughter, who was only 6 years old at the time. She was found dead at the bottom of a well not long after she was forced to leave her home. Nobody knows if it was suicide or if she was so delirious from resentment and despair that she tripped and fell without really knowing what had happened.
That's really awful. The poor woman.
In order to get her revenge, her spirit has been clinging to the women who marry into our family, preventing the spread of sons and grandchildren. Her mission is to end our family's line and take away the chance of us having what my great-grandfather valued the most: male descendants.
That's actually quite terrifying.
My grandmother is my grandfather's 3rd wife, you know. His first wife died of cancer. The second was married to him for 8 years without incident, but then she decided to go on her first ever vacation since getting married, and she drowned at the beach in Hawaii. My grandmother just about managed to give birth to my dad and my aunt before passing away. And even my mom is my dad's 2nd wife. His first wife died on their honeymoon. She barely even made it past the wedding.
Oh my gosh. I can't even put into words how frightening that is.
But in your case, your ancestors are really strong and powerful, and their spirits are keeping you from meeting the same fate as all those other unfortunate women. I know that they will continue to protect you, but the accidents are also going to keep happening.
This is all a lot to take in, and I'm not sure if I can believe it. Is this really the truth?
I know it's hard to believe, but please listen to me. For your own good. If you go ahead with this marriage, you will be putting your own life on the line.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for telling me all of this. I think I'm going to need some time to process all of this, if you don't mind. Honey?
Yes?
Thank you.
What are you thanking me for?
For being so nice to my sister.
Oh, well, she came to visit me especially, so of course I was going to spend some time with her.
She said she had a really nice time going shopping with you and watching a movie with you. I know you really went out of your way to do that, so thank you so much. But still, I think that us living with her would still be a little too much, even though I appreciate the sentiment.
What do you mean, living with her?
She told me that you suggested we live with her, so the two of you can be like real sisters. She said that you said it was because you didn't want her to be lonely.
I said nothing of the sort. Maybe she is just delusional after all. Or a pathological liar, just like her mom said she was. I'm really sorry about this, Deborah. I can't believe these things keep happening.
Getting you married into our family really isn't easy at all, huh?
You have every right to be annoyed. I really can't tell you how sorry I am.
I am a little bit frustrated, if I'm honest with you, dear.
Just how long exactly are you planning on pushing this wedding back for?
I'll have to wait a little longer to discuss it again with my parents. I'm sorry.
I suppose having just lost your grandmother, it's important for you to comfort your parents and be there for your family. For now, there's nothing much else we can do.
Are you really going to take a shower? It's your grandmother's week and you need to tend to the guests.
Great Uncle Keith, I'll be gone for 5 seconds. I've not slept for days and my scalp is so itchy I can barely focus.
You're a disgrace!
I just need to head upstairs and I'll be back in a second, okay?
Oh, whatever. Do whatever you want.
This is so refreshing. I can feel myself coming back to life. Oh, wait, my phone. Where's my phone? Why does this keep happening to me? Where did I put it? Did I leave it on the table? I remember some of my friends calling to ask how I was, and I was definitely sitting at the table at that point. Oh my goodness. I must be losing my mind. What's going on here? I want to die! I want to die!
I knew you didn't believe me when I told you the story about my family's curse.
Oh, no, I did believe you. I swear.
Don't lie to me. You didn't believe me at all, did you?
Well,
if you had believed me, you would have broken off the engagement with my brother right then and there. Now that your grandmother has passed away, you're starting to take me a little more seriously, aren't you?
that's not the case.
Why won't you believe me? Why would I tell you these things if they weren't true? Why would I lie to you when you're the only person who has ever gone out of their way to be nice to me?
I just can't help the fact that I'm in love with your brother.
Well, love is nice and everything, but let me tell you something else that I didn't tell you before. If I tell you this, I think you might just believe me.
Please, go ahead. Let's see just how delusional she's going to get this time.
Humiliating things are most likely going to keep on happening to you.
Wait, what?
There's somebody's spirit stuck to your back who just won't let go.
I have a spirit stuck to me.
Yes. It's the spirit of a young man wearing white pants and white sneakers.
What?
It's likely that he has been the cause of all the humiliating things that have been happening to you. And it doesn't look like he's going to leave you alone anytime soon. Your grandmother, with her powerful aura, has been preventing him from causing you harm all this time. But now that she's gone, she isn't able to protect you from him anymore.
Now that I come to think of it, these kinds of humiliating things started happening to me again.
Do you know who this young man is?
Yes, I do. He was a friend of mine in college. Actually, now that you mention it, after he passed away...
You're right. It was all the spirit of that young man. He was the one who was watching you in the shower, and he was the one who made the room smell as if it was burning.
I can't believe it. Can these kinds of things really happen?
Do you believe me now? So as soon as you moved back in with your family, he stopped bothering you because your grandmother's strong aura scared him away. But now that your grandmother is no longer with us, well, that's a different story.
What am I supposed to do now, then? Can't she help me from beyond the grave like the other ancestors have been doing?
She can, but all she'll be able to do is lessen the impact of things that happen to you. When she was alive, her aura was strong enough to keep his spirit permanently at bay. But now, as a spirit herself, she has considerably less energy. You will just have to soothe his spirit earnestly and make sure he knows how sorry you are for anything that happened between you that may have upset him. There's nothing else you can do. Maybe you should burn some flowers to send to him in the afterlife? Or maybe not. That's not the problem here.
Then what is the problem here?
Well, I know that the reason my mom is pushing for you to marry my brother is so that our family's curse can be passed on to you.
In the end, I decided to call off the engagement. I didn't care whether my fiancé's sister was delusional or a pathological liar or anything like that in the end. After I got engaged to my fiancé, all of these inexplicable things kept happening to me. And in the end, my desire to marry the man I loved did not outweigh my desire to just live in peace again. However I thought about it, the overwhelming feeling I was having about all of this was discomfort, whether ghosts were genuinely involved or not. As for the college classmate who I mistreated, I went to his grave and offered him my deepest apologies for the way I acted towards him. I remembered him saying how much he liked flowers and how he'd always wanted to receive some, so I bought him the most flamboyant bouquet I could possibly find and placed it on his grave. The moment I put down the flowers, I burst into tears, got down on my knees, and begged him for forgiveness. After all, nobody has the right to shame anybody for anything, and the way I behaved towards him truly was wrong. When I heard my fiancé shaming his sister about her spiritual nature, I got angry on her behalf, berating him for being so shallow and image-conscious. But back in college, I had been exactly the same. I had been unnecessarily mean to Bryce because I found him embarrassing to be around, and I probably contributed to him feeling like an outcast, just like my fiancé's sister did when she was younger. I could have just muted his Instagram stories instead of having to make a big statement by unfollowing and then blocking him. At the time, for me, it was just my way of getting an annoyance out of my hair. But I understand that it must have been quite hurtful for him, considering how he put so much importance on those things.
The bad luck you were supposed to take on has come back to get me instead. That old witch's curse has come to ruin me.
What are you talking about, Deborah?
I've never been sick a day in my life. And now, thanks to you, I've been diagnosed with inoperable stage 4 pancreatic cancer. You did this to me. If you had just got married to my son like I planned, then this would have happened to you instead of me. It's not fair. I don't want to die because of you. I can't believe you get to have your cake and eat it, and I'm here with barely any time left to live. It's so unfair.
Hello? I'm not sure what you're saying because you keep yelling. You can't escape your fate by giving the poisoned wine in your hand to another man's daughter, you know. You got what you deserved by trying to push it onto somebody else. Now you have to go and drink the poisoned wine yourself. And anyway, you must have known that your husband's family was cursed after what happened to his first wife, but you still married him because you wanted to be part of a fairly rich family. You did get what you wanted, didn't you? I hope it was worth it.
I'm never going to die. Mark my words. I deserve to enjoy all the nice things in life.
Wherever in the world you go, you will always find someone, in every culture, who claims to have some kind of way of communicating with the dead. Although these days, fewer and fewer people believe in that possibility, and we are consequently seeing far fewer shamans, mystics, mediums, and clairvoyants than we used to. However, I am now a strong believer in the fact that there is a spiritual world, beyond our own, that we can't necessarily see. I think I read somewhere that even the Roman Praetorian Guard had exorcists on hand. People from all walks of life, since the dawn of human civilization, have had some kind of belief about communication with the dead being a possibility. I don't know if there really are a small number of chosen people who can connect with the spiritual realm, or if the people who claim they can are either delusional or putting on a show. At the end of the day, there's always going to be a difference between people who believe what they want to believe and people who only believe in what they can see with their own two eyes. I definitely take a bit of persuading, but once there's significant evidence, I won't hesitate to act. All I know for sure is that I wish nothing but the best for my ex-fiancé's sister, who may have just saved my life.
My mom passed away.
And may she rest in peace. Thank goodness I'm saved. Thank you for listening. If you like this story, why not leave us a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.